We begin this morning in South Africa to see what the Sowetan says. And on the front page of the Sowetan newspaper, the big story says, nowhere to run for sprinter. That's the big story. Nowhere to run for sprinter. We can also see that there are indeed some sub-stories. Former Chief's PRO arrested at funeral of Sundown's counterpart shortly after his son was taken in for allegedly running 100 million rands Ponzi scheme. Neighbors who say Shakwani never bothered to hide tell of drama at his home as hawks pounced. The details of that's on page 2. We also have here on the front page, call out arrogance, but ... There's ellipsis after that. Indecisive South Africa foreign policy, a problem. Details on page 14. And we also have Mazda SUV Biggie docks in SC on page 8. And the final story, keeper crisis at Chiefs. Is it Mbobo Vuleka in the posts? The details on the back page. And the final story, KFC stole my quota on page 3. That's all we can take on the front page of the Sowetan. Away from South Africa, let's head over to Cameroon.
All right, now let's find what we can see what we can find on the Guardian Post newspapers this morning in Cameroon. It says here that 2 dreaded Amber generals and 16 fighters surrender in Ndian. And also, Orange Foundation inaugurates and hands over 55 MFCFA worth hospital to government.
That's actually a good news. That's good news. I mean, civil organizations at this point realize, in many parts of the continent, we realize that there's only so much that the government can do, so when they can come together and do stuff and do things to make life better for the people of or for the citizens, it's always something to celebrate. So kudos to Orange Foundation.
I agree with that, but at the same time, the people should also understand that it is still the government's responsibility.
Exactly, of the government.
And the government should also remember its responsibility. Every now and then you hear people blaming the church and asking the church, what have you done? What are you doing for the people? You're building a big church, but we're the schools, we're the factories. It's not the church's responsibility to do that, right? It's still the government's. But yes, we should commend it. 14 arrested over killing of soldiers and biker in Pendamboko. And also echoes from Southwest Peace and Development Forum. Paul Biya must hear this.
Apostle. Must hear this.
It says an editorial on the Guardian Post this morning. These are the major stories coming in from Cameroon's Guardian Post. All
right, let's come back to Nigeria, where we're broadcasting live from the front page of the Guardian in Nigeria. The big story there says, World Hypertension Day. Pressure, lifestyle, increase high BP among Nigerian youths on page 6. Osauge, when last did you check your blood pressure first?
A few months ago.
Yeah, mine too. And secondly, what do you think? They're saying now pressure, lifestyle, increase high BP among Nigerian youths. What in the news right now is increasing blood pressure the most for Nigerian youths? Think about it. We're going to banter about that later. Treatment costs 1.22 trillion naira monthly for 76.2 million Nigerians living with ailment. May 29, Tinubu's inauguration sacrosanct, says Afenifere as Ohaneze disowns plan to participate on page 6. Yari kicks Akpabio leads over 40 senators to parley with NWC on page 3. Beware of Matawale, Arewa youths caution Tinubu, Lord CBN's Naira policy on page 29. Court remands Kuti over alleged assault. There have been videos making the rounds of the police, searching his house. And people have been asking, what's going on? Why are they searching? Is the house connected to the affairs? Is there something there's so many pieces of the story that we are yet to...
Including the part where they said the policeman who was slapped is in a coma.
Yes!
It's in a coma, and, I saw people say that we have a problem then. If it's slapped, I'm going to put the policeman in a coma.
Well, weirdly, there's something called the eggshell skull principle that is take your victim as you see him, where in the instance that if you slap someone and the person falls and dies, whilst it cannot be murder because there was no premeditation, but you will still serve sentence for manslaughter.
Yeah, but was the coma a couple of days after?
The slap took time to take effect.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
But of course, it's still good to question why they're searching his house.
Yeah, it is important.
Because
I saw the wife saying to the children, baby, close your eyes, no, we're fine. She was just trying to calm the kids. And it's important to find out why. I'm sure that the police spokesperson, the PPRO too, will soon put out a series of tweets in response to that. Resident doctors begin warning strike today. Set May 29 deadline for federal government's intervention on page 3. Manufacturers flay excise duty, increased call for suspension Multiple challenges cripple primary healthcare worldwide. And that's all the story that we can take this morning on The Guardian. Let's head over to the Nigerian Tribune. We will come back to this World Hypertension Day conversation, just so you know.
Okay. All right. Now, on the Nigerian Tribune this morning, let's see what we can quickly
paper.
find. It says Tinubu to open talks with G-6, Yari, and others. And also this morning, many escape as gunmen open fire on travelers along Akure Road. I got that right, right?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
That's so sad. Open fire, wow.
Buhari presidency, a review. That's on page 13 to 20 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Oyebode Kokori Asaju to Tinubu, how to deliver good leadership and governance. And also, gunmen killed 38, set many houses on fire in Plateau State. That's on page 26 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. Just, to point out that once again, and we've said this, almost, 1,000 times, that, we see these numbers with regards killings of Nigerians, and it almost doesn't mean anything to the Nigerian people anymore. And it almost, looks like it doesn't also mean anything to the Nigerian government anymore. The death of 38 Nigerians in Nigeria by forces that we still do not know or can't explain almost means nothing. Governance continues. People go on with their lives. The presidency says nothing. The state government says nothing. The National Assembly says nothing. The state houses of assembly say nothing. We just move on. And it's really, really sad. Naira redesign grounded bandits activities in the north, says Arewa youths. Shegun Kuti arraigned, granted suspended bail. That's also in the news. And also Senate approves independent candidacy, forwards bill to Buhari for assent. I think the Shegun Kuti raid is, to look out for more reasons, because I think they approached the court yesterday seeking to hold him for 21 days, which was denied. I think they were given only 48 hours to conclude their investigation. And so the House raid is maybe to go find more reasons to go back to court and say, oh, we found this and that, in the House.
So many people have said that it's now no longer a case of honestly investigating to see what happened, what caused the altercation between him and the police that made him assault the police officer. It's now vendetta.
Yeah,
it's now,
yeah.
We're going to deal with you for all your past atrocities against the Nigerian police. So
it's never been.
Now personal.
But another thing to point out, and I did see this yesterday, is how the judicial system in Nigeria has, I always like to say not in its entirety, but to a large extent, I remember an article a couple of years ago that said something court order for sale or something like that. Court injunction for sale, or so I can't remember what it was. But we've seen that the judiciary a lot of times has really just almost seemed like they're part and parcel of the corruption and the issues that Nigerians are having. And when the executive is meant to. Anyway, it's a longer conversation, but yeah, these are the stories on the Nigerian Tribune at this time.